pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home. For pre-need, pre-need director Doris Thrash at Curtis & Son Funeral Home. And I tell you about this often, being a part of Curtis & Son Funeral Home. I've seen firsthand of people who, when they lose a loved one, maybe suddenly, maybe a drawn-out illness, but I've seen it happen where the individual passes away and the family is not prepared. They've not made the arrangements. They're having to do all of that at the time when they should be able to just totally honor their loved one. Well, to alleviate some of those issues, contact Doris Thrash, our pre-need director at Curtis & Son Funeral Home. You can pre-plan that funeral. Hey, the Bible talks about it's appointed unto man once to die. If we live and the Lord tarries, we're gonna die one day. And the preparation for death is never easy. But when you do a pre-need funeral plan, you've got all the question marks out of it. You're not having to make impromptu decisions about where the service is going to be, what clothing is going to wear, if it's going to be a burial, if it's going to be a cremation, if it's going to be a church service, the music, everything is taken care of. And at the time of death, you'll be able to mourn without all the disruptions that you would normally have if you don't pre-plan. I'm telling you, it's a great way to go. And talk with Doris Thrash at Curtis & Son Funeral Home, our pre-need director. Tell her I asked you to come by from Daybreak. That's Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Graveside service for Mr. Charles R. Pete Williams, age 67, of Sylacauga, will be today at 2 o'clock from Alabama National Cemetery in Montevallo. Visitation prior to the service, 10 a.m. until noon at Curtis & Son North. Online memorials at curtisondsonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Dina Gail Thompson, age 77, is Friday at 11 a.m. from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City. The Reverend Larry Cummings officiating. Burial at the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends this evening, 5 until 7 o'clock at the funeral home. Ms. Thompson died Tuesday, November 28th at Russell Medical Center. She was a member of the Calvary Heights Baptist Church. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home directing. Dorothy Ann Wesley, age 77, died November 28th. Funeral service at 11 o'clock Saturday morning, December 2nd at Ursery Funeral Home in Talladega. Michael Chapman will officiate. Burial at the Oak Hill Cemetery. The family receiving friends Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at the funeral home. Ms. Wesley was a member of the Miracle Tabernacle Church in Ohatchee, Alabama. Online condolences at urseryfuneralhome.com. Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega directing. Celebration of life for Ania Jones, age 19, will be 2 o'clock Saturday at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Childersburg. Interment in the church cemetery. Miss Jones, the body of Miss Jones will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Online condolences at terrysmortuary.com. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary in Talladega in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for Mike Smith, age 58, of Sylacauga, Saturday at 1 from the Chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Reverend Tommy Bounds officiating. Burial in the Talladega Springs Cemetery. Mr. Smith died November 28th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Visitation Saturday 11 until 1 at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Herschel Muse, age 92, is today at 11 a.m. from Marble City Baptist Church with Reverend Jonathan Muse, the Reverend Mac McCaleb, and Reverend Michael Trull officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Mr. Muse died November 27th at his residence. In lieu of flowers, a family asset donation will be made to the Marble City Baptist Church. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Douglas B. Wright, age 71, of Sylacauga, is Friday at 1 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Smith. Brother Joe Camp officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation today, 5 until 8 at the funeral home. Mr. Wright died Monday at Brookwood Medical Center. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Faye Ballou Forbes, age 78, of Equality, will be today at 11 a.m. from Seaman Congregational Christian Church. Burial in the adjoining cemetery. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City in charge of the arrangements. These obituaries presented by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg, 256-245-4361 for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.